like I've mentioned before. And the quarter life crisis I've come to discover is being forced to accept and being forced to not be able to forego feeling positive in the midst of a shitty situation. You know, I've been in the midst of a crisis and great things have happened. Some of the best things in my life have happened during this crisis. And I've had to get to a place where I was crying, you know, worn down, but also so grateful for where I was at. I had to get to a place where I could manage both within my own psyche. I feel like a lot of times we feel like we have to be happy and live in that happiness. Or if we're sad, we need to, you know, stay in that sadness. We feel like that the tug and pull of being happy and sad at the same time, of being light and of feeling lightness and darkness at the same time, of feeling hopeful and also hopeless at the same time, and finding a way to not get stuck in the uncertainty of that and the immobility of that, and still taking action wherever you can. Still, even if that action is writing your journal, even if that action is going for a walk consistently, you know, for 30 minutes or more a day. It's just about doing that. It's just about finding ways to be grateful and mindful of all that you have gone through, remembering where you are, remembering where you've been, remembering all that you contributed to. All of that is very key when going through a crisis. It doesn't bring like 100% peace of mind. It's not going to make you feel like everything is solved, and you're not going to go to bed at night necessarily feeling like everything is solved, but you will wake up in the morning feeling stronger about yourself and able to get yourself out of bed with enough verve to actually get the shit done properly. If you are doing the work of sitting with those emotions, as dichotomous as they are, and acknowledging them, being mindful of them, letting them flow through you, and then when you're able, doing something productive about it. For me, that was this EP. For me, that was this album. This was my productive thing that I could do about it, because I know I'm 27 and I know what I'm talking about is legible to a lot of you out there. You know, like I know this quarter life crisis experience is not exclusive to me, and I've been aware of that the whole time, and that's kind of what's kept me from being woe is me. I struggled with being woe is me, I think, when I was a teenager. I mean, who doesn't? But I was really depressive, you know, more so. I was actually had chronic depression at the time, and I was experiencing depressive episodes because of life. You know, if I can get into that later, more into that, you know, I'll get into that more as I get to know y'all better. But yeah, you know, life was lifing, and so I had a tendency to ruminate and feel woe is me and feel defensive about it. Like why shouldn't I feel like that? Why shouldn't I feel like my uniquely shitty situation is uniquely shitty? Yeah, and you can feel that way, but for me, I've also felt a responsibility, especially more recently, to be mindful that I'm still a leader, and I'm still operating a business, and I'm still developing and maintaining myself as an artist. I have stuff to lose, and I have a reputation to uphold, and I have a desire to present myself in a way where I'm helping people be their best. And so because of that, I have the onus to try to find a way to be balanced, even in the darkest moments where it can be so easy for me to cut up. And by cut up, I mean like act out. And just for those who aren't aware of the AAVE, yeah, to cut up means to act out. So I've been actually very level-headed, and I've been experiencing a lot of strain. Like my car got repoed 3 weeks ago, and I don't know if you guys have been able to tell. You may have been able to tell that I haven't been online as much because I've been trying to handle that situation. But I actually handled the situation with a lot of grace compared to how I would have handled it even 2 years ago. I would have flew off the handle. I would have been making demands. And I'm not proud, and I'm not proud to say that. I am a choleric person, but there's a healthy way to do choleric. There's a healthy way to do assertive, and I think I found that recently. And you guys are hugely responsible for that, because I know that I have a platform, and I know I have a responsibility that comes with that platform, and I take that seriously. I do seek to be maybe not a role model, but I do seek to be a model for guys in my generation and younger, and maybe even older, to show like, you know, these are some attitudes or some ways of doing things that may benefit you, you know, especially if you think the way that I do, or if you have values that are aligned with mine in any way, you know, which I know all of us here, you know, share that. So yeah, that was so I think that I'm looking at the time right now, and I'm at perfect timing right now. Just to summarize, I wanted to explain metamodernism, which is a burgeoning successor to postmodernism that I've been really excited about. Calling the shit postmodernism was not gonna cut it for me. Well, that's what it was referred to up until now. It was postmodernism, and that's not catchy. That's not, from a marketing perspective, as somebody who's, you know, studying, you know, stuff related to that, it's not really catchy, you know. postmodernism. No, metamodernism though, because it is taking a meta stance on modernism. Again, just to summarize, it is taking a meta stance on modernism and looking at the benefits of modernism from an abstract perspective and the benefits of postmodernism from an abstract perspective, and trying to make the most objective benefit cumulatively from them as possible. So that just took me over, and the fact that I've been in alignment with it for so long and just am finally able to put a name to it is a modernist trait that I really appreciate. Being able to put a name to a thing is a modernist thing to do. Postmodernists will tell you that the label doesn't matter, and that that the label can mean different things to different people, and it definitely can. But when I'm working internally, I definitely like to use labels and structures because it just helps me not be so all over the place. So that's my understanding of metamodernism. I will put some sources wherever I can, so that way y'all can fact check what I'm saying and maybe correct me if I was wrong about anything. Of course, I'm never going to claim to be 100% right. I don't speak on things unless I'm fairly sure, so